Y. Tarot. Kyle G14 S. Tarot. Double. Space. W. E. R. Tarot. I. N. G. Space. D. Tarot. A. S. Tarot. A. D. Space. Tarot. S. O. Space. Tarot. T. Space. Tarot. A. N. D. Tarot. A. N. D. Space. Tarot. O. N. Tarot. Kyle G1479 says yeah, y'all didn't miss a lot. Kyle G1479 says I swear I placed torches here buddy, crying face. N. Tarot. Kyle G1479 says yes so. Kyle G1479 says I don't know why. Space. M. E. A. N. Space. Kyle. M. Tarot. L. Tarot. N. S. Kyle. Kyle G1479 says now. Kyle G1479 says fact you jinxed it. Kyle G1479 says and is and tarot. H. E. R. Y. Space. Tarot. Kyle G1479 says. N. Tarot. Kyle G1479 says now. Kyle G1479 says TS ain't RNG. Kyle G1479 says but they are spawning. Kyle G1479 says hear them. Why? 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 Tarot. O. Tarot. H. O. P. E. Tarot. Kyle G1479 says yo that's genuinely weird. Kyle G1479 says why aren't they spawning? S. Tarot. U. Tarot. Slash. E. F, F, E. Gave regeneration asterisk 255 to Taroenda for an infinite duration. Couldn't take any effects from Kyle G1479 as they do not have any. Took all effects from Taroenda. S. T. Kyle. U. Taro. I. Space. Kyle. O. Taro. Kyle G1479 said, Y. Taro. T. H. Taro. Kyle G1479 says we should go back up. Oh, Taro. Kyle G1479 says I'm like half a heart. A. Taro. L. Taro. S. S. Taro. T. Taro. O. Taro. W. Taro. T. H. Kyle G1479 says that looks scary. Kyle G1479 says look. D. Taro. W. Kyle G1470. Kyle G1479 says look. Kyle G1479 says long hallway. Oh, Taro. W. H. Taro. T. H. I. S. Taro. Kyle G1479 says mine up. M. Y. Kyle. S. Taro. D. I. D. Taro. Kyle G1479 says am lost. Kyle G1479 says yes OFC. Kyle G1479 says wait. Kyle G1479 says here. Kyle G1479 says I have an extra pick. T, W, H, O, T, Taro. Kyle G1479 says is store it. Kyle G1479. Kyle G1479 says hold. Kyle G1479 says got some fishing rod from the string we got. L. E. M. Editing. Taro. T. S. Space. Kyle. F. H. I. N. G. Space. T. Kyle. O. I. Space. Taro. Kyle G1479 says nice. I. Oh, Kyle. Kyle G1479 says and also we should tour. What? A. Taro. Oh, Taro. A. Taro. Kyle G1479 says hold. Kyle G1479 says if we go deeper we can get more upload. O. H. Taro. Kyle G1479 says where's the fish? Taro. LT. Taro. Kyle G1479 says maybe we have too much entities lol. Kyle G1479 says from farm. M. What? Taro. T. Taro. J. Taro. J. N. Taro. A. Taro. Kyle G1479 says now. T. Taro. B. C. A. B. C. A. Taro. N. Taro. Y. Y. O. U. Kyle. Kyle G1479 says ALRT Jotsit. Kyle G1479 says that's it. Kyle G1479 says lay sleep. You may not rest now. Space. D. Taro. Kyle G1479 says let's explore. Ed E. F. F. E. C. Gave regeneration asterisk 255 to Taro Enda for 3 seconds. Kyle G4. I. M. Taro. T. Taro. Kyle G1479 says a light bro. Kyle G1479 says so. Kyle G1479 says hey race what AMA do. Kyle G1479 says IMA pour a bucket of water on your blazy AHH shiny AHH no job no life AHH head. Kyle G1479 says IMA pour a I. Space. I. Taro. Y. Taro. Kyle G1479 says not or bald. T. G. R. W, Taro. Kyle G1479 says buddy. Kyle G1479 says it's a hat. I. T. S. Space. Taro. O. Taro. H. A. Taro. Kyle G1479 says bro. T. R. T. R. Taro. I. L. Kyle. L. O. O. Kyle. I. M. Space. Taro. Kyle G1479 says Ayo chill. Kyle G1479 says or stuff's on the roof. Kyle G1479 says or up. Kyle G1479 says top of Buntain. Y. O. U. R. Taro. Kyle G1479 says bro hurry. L. E. T. Taro. H. O. Kyle. Kyle G4. Double C. H. W. Taro. S. B. R. F. Taro. P. M. Taro. A. R. Taro. T. M. Taro. Kyle.